This is Windy's brand new 37 Shamal. It's a new design direction for Windy, and it's a very pretty boat, but it stays very true to Windy's core DNA, which is a serious, high-performance seaboat. And you can tell that by the deep V. Look at this, the way that cuts through there. This boat is designed to travel very fast, very comfortably, and it's what Windy do best. But they've really lifted the ambience on this. They've always been great quality boats, but they've just improved the detailing and that kind of thing on this one, and taking it to another level. So it's well worth taking a little look at. So we're going to head on up here, and then we're going to step on and show you what this one is all about. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start back here. This is classic weekender sports cruiser style, so masses of cockpit space. It's all about being outdoors. And in fact, there's some neat details, like underneath here. We can flip this cushion over, lift this up, and there's a locker which doesn't look very big to begin with, but if you actually look down here, you can see how far back that goes. So that you can slot in paddle boards or water skis or whatever you want. And then of course you've got the big sun pad on the back, very comfortable. But a classic Windy feature is the fact that this seat here will slide. That's what these tracks here are for. So that will come back, and what's nice about that is if you're at anchor, you can lie here looking out over the back of the boat. If you're running fast and people want to lie out there, you can motor this back, and this becomes a sunbathing area, but it's sort of protected by this because that is then at the back of here. The cockpit is full beam. It's quite a narrow boat, but there's no side decks. They've taken this right out to the edges, so you can actually get a decent amount of space in here and a decent amount of shelter because you're sat quite low in the boat. You can see as you come forward that we step down, and this is very much the living area of this boat. The downstairs, the lower deck, that's really for sleeping and toilet and that sort of thing. And there's a very neat canopy arrangement, which when we have a look at the engines, I'll show you that at the same time. So you've got a folding table just here, that just opens out for dining, and then opposite that is this very nice bar area. What you've got underneath here is your barbecue. Your sink is here as well, of course. And what's quite neat is they've put this section so that you can lift it up like that, just to give you a bit more workspace. Let's drop that back down. We'll have a quick look underneath as well, where we will find fridge, and then that storage in on that side as well. Now up here, this is the important bit. This is where you drive the boat, and this is very, very much a driving machine, and you can tell that by these great stand-sit bolsters. So you can sit down and drive it with these dropped like that, and that's a very comfortable way of driving the boat. But when you're really going fast, and this is a fast boat, we'll come to that, you lift those up, and then you can stand here, you brace your feet like that, and that is a really tremendous driving position with a great view out across the front. Now, I mentioned there's no side decks. You might wonder how you get to the front of the boat. Well, there's steps here, and there's an opening section of the windscreen, and that takes you through onto that foredeck, and there's a walkway all the way through, in fact, to the bow. And what that means, of course, is, as I say, without the side decks, you get maximum width here. So although it's a narrow boat for performance and handling, this is still a pretty decent area. Another seat over on this side, so you can have three people all facing the right way when you're at speed. And then if we head down through here, this is the lower deck. So as I say, this is mainly about sleeping in here. But again, lovely, beautiful quality finish. They've done a great job. They've actually designed this one with Espan Ono, and you can see the input, because they've really taken this one up market. It's beautiful. So at the front here, you have got big double bed, like that. This here is mostly storage. There is a fridge just here. But this down here then is just storage areas. That's for your cutlery, and up above this is for plates and all that kind of stuff, glasses, cups and so on. But look at this woodwork, look at the way this curves off down here, look at the way the grain follows perfectly all the way along. That is stunning. These are skylights, you get plenty of light into here, and you've got a deck hatch there as well, and there's a TV in here, and that's storage up around there, and you've got storage areas like this. But that isn't the only area on the boat, because back here you've got two beds which are underneath here, so you can sleep four on here. Now that looks like a completely open plan layout, which is great. If you've got small kids on board, mum and dad can be up here, little kids down here, everyone's connected. But if you've got two adults and you want a bit of privacy, watch this. Drop those two little catches, and then that, look at that. And that slots into place magnetically. And now they've got a completely enclosed separate cabin. It's a rather neat feature because when it's open, it completely disappears. It just locks into place like that. And when that's closed, they've got a little window there, and they've got hull windows, so there's light and there's ventilation into there. And the other thing that's down here, of course, is the heads. And again, for a sports boat, this is really good because they've got space for a separate shower stall, and you've got the toilet just here as well. So you've got someone to come out of the shower and into there to get dried. And again, really nice detailing. This is lovely that they've done all of this. A really beautiful high performance weekender, really, I suppose you would call it. I mean, you could certainly spend a week on here if you wanted to, but this is the sort of boat where you go out for the weekend, blast down the coast, anchor in a bay, and blast back again the next day. Very pleasing. Let's go look at the engines. So the engines are under the back, so we power this one up, which we will do for you next. So this particular boat's got a pair of D6 440s in. They're going to give the boat over 40 knots, probably 42, 44 knots, something like that. Cruising obviously therefore at 35 knots, so it's a serious ground coverer, and you'll be getting about 300 miles at that speed. So that's pretty impressive. You can have D6 400s as an alternative, but if you're having a boat like this, why wouldn't you have the 440s? And while we're in this area, it's worth mentioning the Canopy System, because that is in here as well. And as you can see, the whole thing can be lifted up, and then you can just drop this section forward, as Adam is very kindly demonstrating for me. And there's your bimini top. And in fact, there are sides that can come in the front as well, so you can completely enclose this area if you want to very easily. That's a very nice touch. So that's about it, really. That is the Windy 37 Shamal. Really lovely boat. Very taken with this one. You have an awful lot of fun with this boat. Hope you've enjoyed that one. Do give it a thumbs up if you have, and let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.